Hello, hello, welcome in. We are into Champion Select. Our undefeated teams in round 5. Black Rock Esports, the number 6 upset seed, having already taken down the number 1 seed of Winthrop University, will now face off against Aporia. Here are number 3 seed in the open qualifiers. One team will remain undefeated. We are getting through the draft. We see the Zoe. Gonna always see that band against Aporia. Samikin will never be allowed to play that champ. Their classic pick. Their one trick, but I think two trick would be a good good name for that with Samikin. It does leave open that Ashe there to immediately get locked in, but Vars on the other side going to be the answer. No ifs, ands, or buts about it, especially with Lucian banned away. Might as well grab that. Curious to see what they want to pair with it in the bot lane. We've been seeing a lot of Renata Glosk kind of be the go-to with Vars in the bot lane, but we've also seen that Vars has been flexed around a little bit. Kind of crazy to see the Vars top lane just yesterday, but I doubt we'll see that here with Aporia. Should be an easy pickup there. Kind of waiting a little bit of time to see what they want to get for themselves. Aporia, what do you want to get here next? Especially with the Rengar and Nocturne being banned away. Xin Zhao has kind of felt like the go-to for a lot of teams, especially on the red side, to get for themselves. That could be the option that they want to lock in for themselves. Or the Vi. The Vi is another one that we've been seeing kind of rise back up in the priority, but the Xin Zhao just makes a lot of sense. Instead of going for that, the Vi, to me, is kind of like the good fallback. If you don't have Nocturne, don't have Rengar, go for the Vi. Azir on the other side will be locked in here. Robbie Bob, that has been the classic pick for him throughout this open qualifiers. We've seen many a game won off the back of Robbie Bob's carry with Azir. Being left open for this long. An easy pickup. Same with the Xin Zhao. Nothing too crazy here from the draft so far. The only thing was seeing that the Vi was a little bit more prioritized here for music as opposed to going for that Xin Zhao. But Akali, ooh, Akali. Samikin. I remember watching Samikin in some of the combines that we had in the offseason here, leading up to 2024. And Akali was a good pick for them. I really like that. The Nico is like kind of the hover that they're going back and forth, but I like the Akali a lot better. Really plays into the hands of being more of that assassin here for the side of Aporia and for Samikin. Having pretty much the same answers on each side. The ADCs, the jungles, the mid lanes. Picked up for both Black Rock Esports and Aporia. Means the top lanes are going to be the next ones to focus on, as Poppy will be banned away. Decoy has been playing a lot of that Poppy top lane, especially when there's a lot of dashes on the other side. You don't want to have it so that Samikin's going to get harassed too much by this Poppy. I respect that ban. Respect it a lot. Especially because, like I said, BlackRock with Coach Topo makes a lot of sense that the Poppy has been kind of the go-to. I would expect to see maybe the Jax be something that is also taken away. Cassante, another ban that could be levied at them. Well, at the moment, is going to be support on one side. Here for BlackRock, taking out the Melio. Waiting to see what Aporia want to ban as that final one. Gwen is another good answer. Another good ban here. Especially if you do want to get a top lane. If you want to get a tank for the top lane here. For Aporia. Put Lawrence on something kind of like that Or and the Cassante I was just talking about. Not having to deal with Gwen. Going to be nice for Aporia. But do BlackRock read that? Do they kind of see that that could be the play here that Aporia are going for as they ban away that Rakan? Doubling up on the support bans. But the Cassante, as I was kind of talking about, locked in immediately for Lawrence. Not going to have that Gwen that can kind of bully it around anymore. Maybe going to go for something. I like that Gnar hover. The Gnar actually is a really good pick here into Cassante. They're kind of going back and forth, deciding which one they'd rather have, Aatrox or Gnar. I really like that Gnar. I think it does a lot here, especially into this composition of Aporia that can kind of help peel. But instead, they want that power in that lane, taking Aatrox here. And then the Renata Glosk themselves, so Ashe will be in the ADC role. Like I said, we have been seeing that slowly but surely move back into that role, being a lot more consistent in that regard. And so with Renata Glosk, Oh man, this BlackRock Esports draft is really good. Having Renata there denies so much of what Aporia wants to do. How they dive into this backline, utilize the Vi, the Akali, the Cassante. No longer will have that easy route anymore when hostile takeovers open. But then Heimerdinger, the final lock-in here for Aporia. Vars Heimerdinger bot lane for Lynx and Rovex. Okay, I am hyped for this game. So let us get ready and jump into our game 5 here. Round 5, both teams undefeated. Only one will remain so after this game. Hello, hello, welcome in. It is round 5 here of the 2024 Spring NACL Open Qualifiers 1. The two teams that are undefeated are now facing off against one another in the final round of Swiss. BlackRock Esports, Aporia. Both teams looking to be the undefeated one, moving out of the Swiss. One upset team here in BlackRock Esports, having toppled the #1 seed. Now we'll face off against the #3 seed in Aporia. I'm joined in by Bonfire, as we might have some shenaniganeries here in the bot lane. All 5 of both teams ready to rumble.
Yeah, I cannot tell you how happy I am that this all-important game was not decided on a 5v5 level 1, because I want...
Don't say that just yet. It ain't over yet.
It's not over yet, but both teams have a bit of a feeling where they are. Thank goodness, because we deserve better. We deserve a full-on slugfest. You said it best.
No, 5v5 shenaniganeries decided at level 1. I'm here for it. I'm here for it. All right, honestly, no, Focus is out of there. Focus is like, nah, I'm not doing that.
It would be the most NA thing ever. I grant you that. Focus decides to go back in, but should be able to just walk himself out. Look, this is for all the marbles. You put it so eloquently. This is for the #1 seed. This is the all-important game that I think all 32 teams were hoping they were going to be in. Now we're down to just 2, so it's a very exciting place to be for Aporia. Obviously, just knocked down the #2 seed, and on the other side, I think BlackRock probably have the better scalp. They've got themselves the #1 seed down.
Yeah, but even if it's 2 upsets apiece for them, now they have to make sure they're still winning this one, right? You can't count your chickens before they're hatched, right? You're in this game, all important, and really, this is the only one that now matters for them. To be that #1 seed going out of the Swiss, as you talked about. Being the team to beat, as each of them have taken down very strong opponents. But you look at who's on each side, right? And there is a lot of talent. You have the collegiate powerhouses here in Robbie Bob and Kitsuo. Then you also have the Lynx, Grovex, Music, all of which have been a part of NACL in the past. Even Samikin has been a name that a lot of people now can recognize, as they've made waves throughout a lot of the combines that happened between the offseason leading up here to 2024.
Yeah, Samikin had the pleasure of watching that last game against TFT, and Samikin on the Corki was absolutely frying. I mean, we're talking Anthony Bourdain levels of frying. It was pretty incredible to see, what this young prospect was able to do, making a name for themselves. And this is, you always say you want new blood in the North American scene. I think that name starts with an S and ends with an Iken, because Samikin, it really defines that. So the question is, can they do it on a pick that's so different than that Corki? The Akali, pretty much the polar opposite of what the Corki wants to do, where the Corki wants to scale up, get that poke across. Samikin on this Akali really has to be the name of one-shotting these low-health members like the Renata, the Ashe, and the Azir.
Especially when you're going up against Robbie Bob. Robbie Bob has been dominating on Azir throughout the open qualifiers and is a champion they're very accustomed to. So going up against that as Samikin, it's going to be rough, but if anyone can do it, as you said, Samikin can. I've seen Samikin play this Akali in the combines in the past, has done disgusting things with it. I believe in them. Though the only thing that would have been a little bit better would have been if they got the Zoe, but I doubt they'll ever have Zoe in any form of competitive play unless someone just doesn't do proper scouting against them.
It's the APA Ziggs, it's the Viper Vayne or the Uzi Vayne. It's their pick, right? It's what they are known for. So we're not going to see a Zoe or a Zobi because that doesn't exist. We are going to see in the top side. Not yet, exactly. Right, hire me, Zobi. We are going to see Lawrence and Decoy kind of battling it out. It's a tough one for the Gasante, but I think if you've watched any professional league in the last couple of weeks, you know that this Gasante will fall behind early and be an absolute menace late game.
Yeah, that's why, like, when it came to the draft, I was kind of hoping for the Gnar. I really like Gnar into Cassante. Even if Cassante does have some ways to actually attack Gnar when he's in mini form, you just get so much control through the lane phase and then the split push that you can exert onto Lawrence. It's nice, but with the Aatrox, does seem that Decoy is getting a pretty good shake of things. Even landing some of his darkened blades. Nice buffer. Oh, actually, Lawrence barely not buffering that one. Wasn't able to escape from the chains, took a lot of damage on his way out.
Yeah, is it going to feel good, especially when you're running low on mana right there? Kitsuo going to go for just a little bit of a steal on the Raptors, but it does look like Music has an idea about it. Might go for, might say, you know what, you take my Raptors, I'll take yours, or potentially could turn towards the bot side as in the mid lane, Sambican and Robbie Bob. I feel like this is what everybody really wants to see.
Oh yeah, I mean, it's Robbie Bob's Azir, Sambican on an Assassin. Both of them really struggling for control over that mid lane. It is going to be Robbie Bob forcing out Sambican, looks like, with that early recall. They'll get back to lane pretty quickly, but all the while, because that mid lane push, the top lane push, it's given Kitsuo a lot of time to take away these Void Grubs, even if it's been spotted out by Music. It was still a good play there from Blackrock. It will be traded, as the Dragon is going to be taken by Music. Uncontested. When you have a Varus Heimerdinger lane, you will always have priority of that lane. Even if it's Ash Renata on the other side, it's just, there's so much poke, and you can see it, how much they've already done to Anori
Yeah, it's difficult to play this game if you are this Ash, and this is the seesaw of League of Legends that you expect, right? You don't have that top side push, and so you're going to lose the grubbies, but on the other side of things, you do get the push in the Heimerdinger and the Varus. The big question is, does Music want to potentially go for a dive? In the last game against TFT, yeah, in the last game against TFT, it was the Link show. Getting the Aphelios ahead early was the main priority. They're shoving him off.
Wolfbreaker. Music really wanted to. They knew how low Anori B was, because Rovex was keeping information on that Ash. But it was a good call there from both Pocus and Anori Get that knowledge back. Say, all right, we expect that if Rovex is playing this far up, they're trying to stop the back because they are looking to dive, as you called out. Doing a little bit of information seeking against Music. And Music as a player, like, a lot of people kind of criticize him when he was in the NACL because he was put on tank duty. But this is a player that doesn't play tanks. This is a carry jungler, someone who made a name for themselves over in Europe for playing a lot of the aggressive junglers. So having constantly been on more of the supportive role throughout his time on Supernova last year wasn't really what we wanted to see out of this player. Now having something like a Vi does have a lot more agency. Even if he can set up the team, you still got a lot of power, especially with the Sundered Sky.
Yeah, and Music loves to play through this bot lane as well. It feels like I was saying, it was the Link show and the Music show in the last game, to the point of where at a certain point Music just wasn't leaving the bot side. The top camp's completely forgotten about, and so it feels like Music knows where the con is. Hold on.
Sambican is punted back, then knocked into the air and taken down with a spear for first blood.
It's a beautiful play right there. We might have another one. Hold on a second.
Yeah, Lawrence fighting all out against the World Ender. Which is stronger? The Cassante all out or the World Ender himself with Darkened Blade? It looks like Cassante as he gets the flash away from Decoy, barely surviving.
Lawrence getting a flash off of Decoy right there. Did have the helping hands of Kitsuo, but doesn't even look like they want to take that, as they're going to have to use the flash here on the bot side. This Darrow gonna get the flash out of Anori Boob, and that's pretty surprising right there. I think a little bit too concerned about where Music was going to be, and so deciding to burn that flash early and not take all of that damage of the Empowered Era.
Music back in the bot lane at level 6. Wants to follow up. They're so far back, even if the flash had been burned on Anori Boob, couldn't continue to chase that deep into enemy territory without the information of what Kitsuo was. They decide, rightfully so, to back off. Just gonna get that poke back on this Ash. They are set up. Music stealing away the red buff. Can easily take this one, and with Pocus now showing there. The spite for Music, he doesn't actually continue. Again, similar idea. They don't know where Kitsuo is. So making the upper call of backing out of there. Don't want to give up any advantages over to Blackrock.
Ooh, Anori playing with fire right here with the health bar. Pocus close enough, and we are going to go through a quick pause right now, which is honestly my favorite part of League of Legends.
Time for snacks.
Yeah,
That's what I say.
exactly.
Time for snacks.
Look,
I'm gonna eat my Pop-Tart.
when you're casting 10 games, take it. I'm sure you love the pauses because gives you a little bit of a chance to eat. I'm not casting 10 games, but I can imagine it sounds very difficult. I will say, when I was casting earlier today, it's like a screenshot of where the map is, and we can kind of dissect where everything is, kind of the ebbs and flows of where everyone's at. Important to look at. Rovex, along with Music, both getting their backs right now, and so they have the tempo advantage. With the Grubbies coming up soon, could be a potential angle to bring Rovex up to the top side as that Heimerdinger and overload that side in order to make sure that 5 to 6 Grubbies aren't taken and they don't get that buff later on in the game.
Ah, the lovely Pop-Tart break. As we get the pause, perfect time as I finish the Pop-Tart. I love it. But yeah, looking at the Void Grubs that will be spawning soon. I know some people, like I've been talking to Dimitri, he says that the Grubs are fake, that it's a fake buff, but I think it's a great snowballing buff, that if you can get it, if you can get all 6 especially, you can snowball this game out of control. By the way, this is just the pause after the pause that happens with observers, so it's fine. Nothing to worry about. Only it's depending on how long the pause after the pause will be. So thankfully not too long on that one. But I am looking at how the side of Aporia are already kind of moving around the map. They already have Rovex on this top quadrant, but look at Pocus also pathing towards the top side. They want to contest around the Void Grubs, because if Kitsuo can get all 6 here for BlackRock, especially when you have things like this Azir and Aatrox, split pushers that really do like having all 6 of the Grubbies, it'll make it difficult, and that is why already Music on top of it. Kitsuo pathing around, Decoy on their way too, but the smite takes away 1. It's not going to be all 6 picked up by BlackRock, but they only need the 1. Having 4 is a huge buff. Arrow does connect on to Lawrence on the other side. So all this fight inside of the pit. All the while, Lawrence getting a little bit of damage. Secure on the 4, but there's the fight. Chain of Corruption not connecting. The damage onto Music will take him with the hostile takeover, landing on a Rovex. But they're going to be out of the fight all the way on the top lane. The all-out came out of Lawrence looking for Decoy, getting a lot of damage. The World Ender, the smite, the hit, the world ends there for Lawrence in the top lane.
It is a disaster right there for Aporia. They roam everybody up. Samikin goes to try to stop a Nori B. They thought they had the numbers. They thought they had the advantage. But all they find is a lot of dead members and a lot of Grubbies going over to the other side. It is a disaster right there for them, and Aporia are going to be in a little bit of a hole right now, a position that I don't think they've really found themselves in this OQ before. And they find a way back out, even though they're down about 2,000 gold now.
BlackRock Esports did something similar to the #1 seed in Winthrop in round 4, and now in round 5, looking to be the undefeated team leaving the Swiss bracket. Get another early game where they have themselves 5 of those Void Grubs. Only the one on the other side. Well, yes, it's not going to be the 6, so you don't have the double mites that are spawned per champion hitting towers. Even the single one with the burn for Robbie Bob and Decoy. As I said, when it is a great snowballing buff that if you can get for your team, you can snowball these games out of control. When you already have a lead like this, 2,000, it's making it real easy for BlackRock Esports. And looking how they want to play around Aporia. Even if Aporia do have the 2 first dragons to answer.
Yeah, and I'm glad you brought up the Aatrox before, because Aatrox can be a side lane menace. I think obviously not as good as some other names, but still very, very strong in the side lane. And when you can only really match it with the Cassante, I think with those Grubbies could be a huge problem. And so there are concerns to be had, losing those Grubs, giving over all of those kills, especially to the Xin Zhao, because if you are this Varus Heimerdinger, you're so immobile. There's just not a lot you can do when the Xin Zhao hops on top of you, pops the Crescent Guard, and says, "Come at me, bro." And so I think that's their biggest concern right now is Xin Zhao's massive, and this Aatrox is going to command quite a bit of attention in the side lane pushing as well.
I even like Robbie Bob having it. The Azir too. How quick you can take turrets with the Azir. There's so many things that are working well for BlackRock Esports right now. The only thing that isn't looking so hot is the spot lane. Noriboob is struggling here against Lynx and Rovex. You can see constantly getting tipped out. Already losing out on 3 plates in the bot lane. And probably going to be more, honestly. I don't really see the spot lane coming back, especially looking at Noriboob's build here. The arrow does connect, gets the cleanse with the hostile takeover. But again, Nori Boop has gone for the lethality build here on Ashe. Going to be a little bit more supportive, looking for the poke with the volleys, just to contend against the poke from Lynx.
Yeah, and Lynx also, went with the Yomus. That's a lethality Varus. And so when you don't get that arrow off and you don't get to pop all of those stacks of Blight, that's most of your damage. And so, yeah, you get the arrow, you cleanse it, you feel fine, but you had a potential kill onto Pocus right there, and you lose that. Now you're going to feel quite a lot worse. And Nori, going to take some
I don't even think it matters here for the side of Aporia. Getting the kills, not getting the kills, it's one of those things, as long as they're alive and they can still get poked, that means that there's nothing that an Nori Boop and Pocus can do. If they're low on health, it actually makes it worse because now they're pinned underneath the turret, always threatened getting taken out by Lynx or Rovex.
Yeah, look, you raise a great point. And like you said, they have to back right there and just concede the tower. Music might try to go for a steal, but I think recognizes the distance out just a little bit too strong with Kitsuo. Backs away. But I think the eyes
also
are going to be
not knowing
on
where Robbie Bob or bot lane are. It's one of those things where Music kind of moves up, but then as he's about to take it, sees that Kitsuo is there. It's like, oh wait, I don't know where Robbie Bob is. I don't know where Nori Boop or Pocus are. I'm going to back out of this one. I'm going to concede it because we already got the bot lane. They take that tier 1. And then get the flash out of Rovex. Kitsuo is following that up underneath the turret as well. Crescent Strike will allow Kitsuo's killing spree to come through. But wait, double TP. Samykin going for the fight here. There's a bailout on Kitsuo. Chain of Corruption connects into the back line. Robbie Bob goes. The bailout saves Kitsuo's life as Robbie Bob will silence Lynx 2. The bot lane no longer a threat.
Yeah, not only are they silenced right now, they have been absolutely shut down and put out of this game. Their mouth's been taped shut. It's been stapled, their lips not to be open for quite a while. Down 7-0 in kills at this point. The only hope is getting this Rift Turtle on the other side of the map. They're going to lose that tower, the first tower, or the second tower, pardon me, because of it. Just a brutal display right there. A great teleport, and that bailout just does enough at the very end. Music going to get a consolation prize, but it's not the wedding, my friend. It's just a gift basket at the end.
Not really going to be too happy there for Aporia. As I said, just so much is going right for BlackRock. They already had those 5 grubs that we were talking about before. Then getting that bot lane. Kitsuo, 4-0 and 6, only not part of 1 kill here in this game. And that's all because it was a solo kill top lane for Decoy. As now, Decoy chasing down Rovex. The arrow not even really needed. That big turret is already going to melt away. It did no damage. The all-out onto Decoy. Lawrence realizing he cannot fight against them anymore. And he has to bail out of that one completely, all the while Music and Lynx pinned underneath this tier 1 in mid.
Yeah, and kind of an underrated thing that's been not going in the way of this Aporia squad is all the teleports they've had to use as well. If Lawrence is getting chased under his own tower, should be fine, indeed he is. But they're losing so many teleports right there trying to help. That's Samykin and Lawrence's teleports, and they die immediately after, or they have to back up and use a lot of resources in order to feel safe. And so those teleports not going to be available anymore. Meanwhile, Decoy still has this. And so this Aatrox, which we were talking about earlier, that can really just split push with those grubbies, is free to do so. Somebody has to match him, and if there's ever a fight like this dragon in 5 seconds, well, guess who's going to have TP advantage? Nope, there goes
the
Lynx.
4,000 gold lead too. That's going to be nice. That's going to be real nice. That I believe the disconnect that we saw there was from that cross earlier.
Yeah.
So we don't need to worry about that. But yeah, it's just
funny.
you have almost a 4,000 gold lead here for BlackRock, and might be more. Oh wait, oh it is another pause. I take it back. I thought that was from the one before. Usually we always see a delayed disconnect, reconnect, whenever there's a pause, but might just be some internet issues that are needing to get resolved. Another snack break.
Another snack break. Maybe it's a snack
Let's
break
all
for
go
Lynx.
to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby.
What do you think Lynx's favorite snack is? I think it's Jack Lynx, the beef turkey sticks. It's just because of the namesake.
You know, that's a good one.
No, it wasn't.
I
It
always
was
forget
really
about
bad. It was really bad, but it's
No,
okay.
it's a good one because I can't think of another snack that has links.
That's exactly why. Yeah, I appreciate that. It gives us a chance to potentially talk about the game or talk about snacks, which honestly might be as interesting as this game is right now, because at the moment BlackRock is really laying the foot down on this Aporia squad. And Aporia went 40 minutes with TFT in the last game. It took everything out of them, and I don't know. Are you a believer of the mental difference? Are you a believer of momentum and mental?
Momentum is a huge thing. Mental diff is honestly a factor, especially after you have a 40-minute game. then to have to go immediately into the next one against a team that's going to feel really good about themselves. The team that was seeded 6th, having beaten the #1 squad. Well, that was a close game as well. That's going to be a huge mental boom for the side of BlackRock Esports. Well, on the other side, yes, they do get the win over TFT. You're still going to feel like, man, this is rough. We had a 40-minute game, and we immediately got to go play against a team that just took down the #1 squad.
Yeah.
And here, getting these early leads for themselves, too, you're going to feel like you're forced to do a lot of things. That's the pause with the pause. We're going to take a little snapshot of what's about to happen here with the arrow. That dragon is so low. I believe it was a smite out from music, so it could be stolen away from Kitsuo. That's actually pretty perfect. We got to see exactly what had just happened there. So once the unpause happens, there it is. It's actually going to be secured by Lynx, but the death is on the other side as they take down music. So while the objective and the third dragon of the game will go Aporia's way, the kill is secured by Kitsuo.
Yeah, and if you look at that teleport as well, Decoy, maybe not the best because he's able to contribute, but completely zones them into the bot side. And so, hello, mid tower. I don't mind if I do. Get some Void Grubbies on it. Get all 3 members. That is going to be a mid tower falling as well. The only thing is Decoy does have
with the chain of corruption.
Should be.
They're fine. They were not that threatened by them. They even have focus there, just in case if they needed to use a hostile takeover, as they are getting a lot of hostilities taking over this entire rift, this bottom quadrant, slowly going the way of BlackRock. Even right there, Robbie Bob, the 1v1 against Amikin, saying, hey, this was an honorable duel. What happened here? The Flash coming in with the all-out. You put them back if he needs to. The waiting time as it's the bailout, the damage, the kill, the hostile takeover, the punch back with a handshake. They do lose the shutdown over to Robbie Bob, but everyone else is going to fall as they get the kill on the music. The snipe not doing any damage to Kitsuo. 2 for 1 in favor of BlackRock.
Yeah, and this entire time, look at the top side. Look at the Aatrox Decoy living up to his name. He says, my teammates are the Decoy. I feel happy enough to completely ransack your top side. And look, we talked so much about this. You take him out of your eye for just a little bit too long, and you are losing so much because of it. They go down in the kill department on that fight, and they're going to lose 1.5, maybe even 2. I don't think they're going to be able to take the second one here, but 1.5 turrets right there because of it. Just goes from bad to worse. BlackRock running the table right now.
Well, they might not get the turret. That's a lot of damage onto that tier 2 in the top lane, and a lot of gold picked up by Decoy. So everyone at BlackRock is going to be so happy. Like, look at the differences. 3,500 between the junglers. You have about almost 2,000 in top lane. Mid lane is about 1,500 for Robbie Bob. The only lane that's really got any leads is the bot lane for Lynx, and that's barely anything.
Yep. It's a really tough position to be in. I mean, it's a 6,500 gold difference right now at 19 minutes. I hate to say it, we were expecting a really close game. Right now has not lived up to the hype, but doesn't mean it's over yet. You know, don't turn off the stream. Don't call it. Don't say, well, BlackRock's obviously going to win this game, because there still is scaling. Cassante still going to be a problem in the late game, and my eyes actually are solely on the Samikin Akali partner, because I feel like if you're able to one-shot some of these stronger members late game, it won't matter how fed they are if they don't get a chance to play. And so keep an eye on Samikin. Is 1 and 2, down quite a bit in the CS department as well. Has really had to play reactionary, but if they're going to get back into this game, they have to do it through Samikin's eyes.
Especially now that you have that Storm Surge completed for Akali. I've seen games here in the open qualifiers with an Akali. Once they get that Storm Surge, even though they were like 0 and 4, 1 fight, 1 triple kill, turned the game around as now Lynx had to cleanse away. The Rift Herald has been spawned here in the mid lane. No one's going to ride the battle sled. Finally, it is picked up by Rovex, but where are you going?
Oh no. Oh boy.
So I know All Battery was talking about how there's a little bit of a bug issue when it comes to Rift Herald, but I have to put that on pause right now. Decoy, top of the World Ender, healing up a lot in this fight. Rovex getting shoved back in right into his own World Ended. Lawrence too, having to dash and flash, but double kill from Robbie Bob.
They are making it look easy right now. If you completely took away the names and you said this was the #1 seed going against a 16 or 17 seed, I believe you, because they are making light work of what's supposed to be one of the best teams in the OQs right now. It's unbelievable what they're able to do. They're snowballing so well. Might try to go for something.
Land. Hostile Tover does not connect. It only connects onto one. That's going to be the arrow. The dash over the wall. The Samikin goes in. Does get the fail at Anora Boob's gone. Baron could be the next target, but Kitsu is still on top of it. Wolves might secure it for the team. Robbie Bob dashing away from Samikin. But they got what they came for. The objective secured by the side of BlackRock.
They lose the Ash, but they get the big purple worm, and they still get a kill on the back end of it. They go 1 for 1 in kills in this gold lead. My friend, it is not going down anytime soon. On the opposite, it's actually continuing to grow for the side of BlackRock and Rovex. My friend, you cannot be there. Has to burn the flash just to stay alive. This Heimerdinger, they prioritized getting getting their bot lane ahead, getting an early lead. They did that, but at the end of the day, it's just not really mattering, is it?
No, especially because you kind of look at what the draft was like for the side of BlackRock, right? They put a lot of that priority on the Ashe, and the good thing about Ashe is she can be a hyper-scaling champion, especially when you do have her in the marksman role. And at first, you would think that. You think that it's the Ashe with the Renata Gloss, but that's what they're going to go for. But Emerald Glaive, the lethality build here for an Oribu, much more of the supportive role, much more about getting rid of the vision and then letting other members of the team carry. And look at how Kitsuo is fed. 6, 0, and 3 on the Xin Zhao. Already 2 items completed. Robbie Bob working on 2.5 items. The carries, the true carries of the team are not from the bot lane. It is from the mid-jungle duo.
Yeah, it's been a masterclass right now from Robbie Bob and Kitsuo, and I've been speaking about it all weekend. Anyone who cares to listen, I've been telling them, Zir is not okay right now in its current state. This champion is unbelievable when it gets a couple of items, and we're going to see it out of Robbie Bob right now. Once you get the Lichbane, and normally you go Nashers and Lichbane, instead going with the Leandries alongside the Nashers. Either way, it's a Zir. That's the most important part.
This is the thing I was talking about, where for me, the Void Grubs are about snowballing a game. Already taking an inhibitor with the Baron. Now with a fight inside of the base. Well, there's a lot of damage on his Igor. He heals up through it all. You can't kill the beast. He's slaying you. Gone like Kitsuo. The flash in, gets the flash away. As Rovac Samikin limp back to the base. Barely surviving. Still minions here. 5 strong. Decoy can TP back in. They can look for an early win here. Nexus turrets are already sieged. Nothing can be done.
Oh my
Pull
goodness.
back in. Emperor's Defied from the collegiate powerhouse. Robbie Bob saying, I won collegiate for a reason, and I will win the open qualifier switch undefeated here with BlackRock Esports.
It's an Emperor's Divide of quality of teams, my friend. And they divided these teams in half. A beautiful win right there. And your 5-0 team is BlackRock Gaming, and they didn't really leave much to the imagination right there. Absolutely picking them up and knocking them down.
Perfect. Oh.
Jeez.
Stop the recording there.
That was a slaughter.